Get this ball rolling.
I thought you were going to say something else about balls, so I'm glad you did not.
It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate, oh yeah.
Hello everyone, welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name is Mike Royer.
And this week, we're preparing for the Superhero Bowl trailers.
Everybody needs to know how you type that, because it's not going to come across. Your pun is losing its ears audio.
Yeah, it needs an audience. Also, Black Panther makes history at the Academy Awards.
Congratulations.
Yes. After we didn't think it would get that far, to be honest. Check out some indie comic TV show trailers with us.
Ooh.
That seems to be a trend lately. There's a lot of these lesser known comic book things coming up and more.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of also feeds into the first bit of news that we'll talk about here in a bit of these technology companies kind of like battling with each other. We end up getting these wealth of these random TV shows we never thought we would see. Later in the show notes, we'll go into deeper, but I never would have thought the lead singer of My Chemical Romance would create a comic book which would turn into a streaming series that I would see competing against Amazon's, what's it called? What's their version? It's not like
Prime?
They kind of... Yeah, but their show that's kind of similar vein, tone. It's also from a comic book.
The Boys?
No, not The Boys. The other one. The other Academy of like Assassins or whatever.
Oh, that's sci-fi. You're thinking Deadly Class.
Oh, I thought Deadly Class was on Amazon Prime.
No, Deadly Class is sci-fi.
I'm like feeding into... I don't know if you've seen this Amazon meme. Oh, okay, first of all, Amazon, it's never a good sign when you're sponsoring your own memes to get into my feed. Netflix just organically kind of shows up into my social streams because people really like the voice of their social media. But Netflix or Amazon decided to make this little meme that says, that's kind of along the lines of, we love that you like Jack Ryan, but it's actually on Amazon and not on Netflix. And I was just thinking, actually, I don't think people are really talking that much about Jack Ryan, so... Maybe you don't build it up as much of what it is. So all I'm trying to say is Amazon just can't hang. They're just not as cool, man.
They might be, but honestly, I canceled Netflix. I watch a lot more Amazon right now. So in my household, Amazon is the winner as of right now. Now, mind you, I do go through some fluctuations of what I want to watch and when I want to watch. Right now, our guilty pleasure is The Masked Singer on TV. I don't know if you caught that or not.
I heard about The Masked Singer on like YouTube a few weeks ago, like when it had first aired, and I was like, "Oh, this is a really interesting concept. I'm not going to watch it, but I should just check in every week to see who the masked people have been." So, and I haven't yet. So, I guess. Is this a spoiler if you just straight up tell me who all of the masked people have been, or are people like trying to catch up with the show and they don't know yet?
I don't know. There's only been 3, so there's not been a whole lot.
Have any of them been just like, oh my god, I can't believe it, or have they just been like, oh okay, I get it, you're famous, but you probably just can't get any work right now?
Probably more that. But see, the only people who get voted off, the only one person reveals the end of every episode, and that's the person who's pretty much sings the worst. So the actual performers are going to be in the last ones, and I have a hunch one of them is Elton John, and I just want to put that out there.
Oh, wow.
I called it on the first episode, and every time I watch it, I'm like, I still bet it's Elton John.
That would be amazing. He would need to get paid a whole lot of money, but it does kind of seem like something he would do, right?
yeah, exactly. And I'm pretty sure his the animal he's dressed up as is a peacock with a lot of flourish. And I'm like, this lines up a little too perfect. I
mean, he has time. I think he might technically have time to do it because I think he literally just played his like last live concert. Like I don't know all the details, but I saw like an Instagram post where somebody was just like, "Oh, I can't believe I was at like Elton John's like last concert or show or something like that."
I also am pretty sure they filmed all this in like 1 day or 2 days, so people wouldn't tell who. Like this is already pre-filmed. This isn't live, so like. Obviously, people are there in the audience. They would know who everyone is, and they haven't said anything yet. So, It's a shame when you can keep leaks for a TV show better than you can any of your movies out there right now. But that's my guilty pleasure. But you've been listening to some music lately, sounds like?
Yeah, well, I thought I'd bring this up on the show because a few weeks ago you said that you needed like a new soundtrack kind of in the vein of like Guardians of the Galaxy, something that you could sink your teeth into. And Weezer just came out with a new album that's all covers, which I don't know if this is a normal thing for a very experienced band to do. Usually a lot of bands kind of get their start playing covers because, you know, it's a really easy way to gain a new audience. But I've never seen it go the other way, where Weezer has like literally dozens of albums. And then I guess they just decided, you know, they're popular and famous, they can do whatever they want now. So they made a whole cover album, which where that really popular Africa from Toto single came from. So it's kind of cool. They made a whole album out of it, and I've been listening to it this weekend, and some of them are pretty good. I like the ones that have more of like a Weezer flair to them, and they're maybe not just necessarily just trying to remake the song. So this could be a pretty interesting listen to you. They actually do cover a song that is from one of the Guardians soundtracks. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Like, I'm even looking at the track list right now. Mr. Blue Sky, that's what it is.
Oh, there we go.
So they cover that, and it's actually pretty good. Unfortunately, they do cover Billie Jean by Michael Jackson, and I think covering a Michael Jackson song is already almost impossible to do. So I think they do a fine job. You know, there's nothing like wrong with, you know, how they execute it, but like I feel like whenever I hear a Michael Jackson song, I want it to be Michael. So that's the only rail I would give against the Weezer Teal album. But I've always loved Weezer. So if you want to hear them do some covers, you know, kind of similar to Toto in Africa, go check out their Teal album. It's like streaming for free on, you know, Spotify. You can just go listen to it.
They do not have Rosanna on here, and that was a cover they did right before Africa.
No, I didn't know that.
That's actually probably one of my favorite ones. I like it better than I like Africa, to be honest. But that's weird that it's not on here as well.
Yeah. It's fun listening. So I see that you're looking at the track list. Like right now, just wipe the track list from your head, because it's kind of fun listening to this, not knowing what the next song's going to be. Like, I was shocked they cover a Black Sabbath song, and I was like, oh, holy crap, Ozzy. So that was a fun revelation.
I'll just put it on random and go with it, because I've already heard Africa and No Scrubs, because people were up in arms about it, but everyone's like, it's really not that bad. So
yeah, the No Scrubs one, that was kind of interesting. So I guess when you get a clout as much as Weezer does, you can just do whatever they want. They've been all over the map music wise, so you have to be really flexible with Weezer if you kind of really want to hang with them.
They were at the Game Awards late last year that we were texting amongst each other whenever they were doing the video game award show. They introduced, I'm pretty sure, the Russo brothers. They're at least Weezer and what's Rivers was on there, but because he reminds me like he's growing to like look like Woody Allen, and it's freaking me out a little bit. But yeah, that's cool. I'll put that on my drive to work tomorrow. For this week.
And I wanted to soundboard one more thing. I'm sure a lot of people out there are familiar with Jackbox TV. It's, you know, it's like a collection of kind of electronic board games, question games that you can just play on consoles or a computer.
I have 1 through 4 on my Xbox.
Yeah. And it's really cool because you just use your smartphone to like log into the lobby, and your phone is your controller. It's really, really fun. There's a specific game on there called Quiplash, which is all of our group of friends' favorite, you know, where you just kind of have to fill in a blank of a question. It's kind of like DIY, Cards Against Humanity. And, you know, you always try to do like the most funny, ridiculous thing, because they go head to head, and then the audience, the people playing, vote for it. So we've played this game quite a bit, and we had a little bit of a smaller crew last night, so we decided to add our own new rules to it, and we played a couple kind of like homebrew rounds, where one of the rounds we decided to play it all very just straight and as matter of fact as possible. So every question that they give you, just try to answer it like you're a freaking computer. Like what would be the worst thing to wake up to in the morning? And then like you would just say like oversleeping, or you have bedhead, just something just so matter of fact. And then when we went through the voting rounds, we would try to vote for the most logical answer. So that was really fun, because you're always in a very wacky mindset trying to answer these questions, and it's actually really fun and kind of difficult to just really fill in the blank. And then we did another round where we passed each other's phone around, and we named everyone else's player, and they had to answer the question as they were that character. So like theoretically, somebody would have to answer all their questions like they were, I don't know, Yogi the Bear or something like that. So that's a kind of a fun little hack for Jackbox TV if you're trying to get a little bit more life out of those Jackbox games. So
I think the fifth one just came out recently. I think.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. It's really fun. I think it's a lot easier to get people into it because you don't have to explain the rules. The game explains it to you. Everybody always has a smartphone, so you can very easily just like jump in the game. You don't have to like be like, oh, you pass the controller around, or oh, I don't have all my controllers charged, or okay, who's gonna play? You put that splash screen up there. Like, okay, if you want to play, go to jackbox.tv and
you
here
can
you
use
go.
phones, you can use tablets, you can use your computer, you can use anything that connects to the internet. Really,
yeah, it's really great.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good one. I think one of my favorites is Fibbage and Murder Mystery
that's a good
Party.
one. Oh, I really like the T-shirt creator one.
Okay.
That one, have you played that one at all?
Yeah, I've played them all. It's probably not my favorite, but I mean, I could see how it could be other people's favorites.
Yeah, it's really fun, especially since I like to draw. So I just always draw like really weird faces, and people smash their captions up against it, so that's fun. But I mean, that's my little video game tidbit. It looks like, Chris, that you want to soundboard something here really quick before we jump into the news too.
Yes. So we played. So just to give a heads up, we played a Halo LAN party this weekend, much like we always do. And as always, the game broke itself and we couldn't play online, so I apologize to a friend of the show, Quentin Parker, because we were in like 2 games, and then literally everyone was just disconnected from live, and we could not get back in the rest of the night. So we played LAN instead, but I just apologize to him. But I went ahead and picked up Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 for the first time this weekend.
You poor soul.
Well, I mean, it was $20 for both of them at GameStop, Mike, on PS4. So if you're looking to revisit them before the third one comes out, you can go get 2 games for $20, remastered and all the new fun stuff. I have a very similar story with this to Skyrim, where I started the first game, I got on the first island, it glitched, I couldn't get off the island, so I stopped playing for the rest of my life, because I've got better things to do than worry about a glitchy game. And I've never returned back to it in probably 12 years, so this will be my first time returning to Kingdom Hearts. And because of the Mickey Mouse stuff and the hidden Mickeys and stuff like that, I think my wife's going to really enjoy that we can play together looking for all that stuff. Yeah. So
and just for clarification, I only say you poor soul because the story, the further along you get into these games, is literally incoherent. Like, it's actually really fun to just go on YouTube and try to find these explainer videos of people trying to, just explain the Kingdom Hearts universe just in general. And you cannot find a video that explains the Kingdom Hearts universe that's under 30 minutes. Like, it's so dense, it's so crazy. It's really famous for, like, retconning things that never needed to be retconned to begin with. So it's actually just so insane, it makes it entertaining. So as you play the games, like, I guess just play it for the fun of the gameplay. Because it actually is kind of fun. It's just kind of like a run around like Smasher. You have fun Keyblades. In the second game, you kind of get these transformations that are fun. And once you beat those games, I would love to hear you try to explain what the story is. Because Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 did come out for consoles, and there's literally like 8 other games that either came out for cell phones or portable consoles or like random card games. It's nuts, but it's pretty fucking funny.
Well, what's crazy?
Pardon my language.
One of my coworkers, went and bought it, and she bought 2.8, which is not anything like, it's not everything up through 2.8. It's literally like 3 or 4 games and some cutscenes from the mobile games re-rendered in HD. So she's like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, welcome to Kingdom Hearts. So I bought these so I could play it and check out what the story was.
Yeah, there's prequel games, but it's like prequel in the sense of they go back like hundreds of years to like the origin of like a Keyblade and what it is. But then there's like characters meet up from games in the future, and they just explain it like, I don't know, dimensions. They can just find each other. It's crazy, man. You're gonna jump into some nuts.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it because it'll be some downtime. It's not online. It's casual gameplay, Mike. That's what I'm looking for. So
okay, cool.
Doing that because I'm really excited more about this coming weekend. I've got to save my energy and prepare my mind for the Super Bowl 2019.
That's right, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. I'm saying it because no one's gonna find us. No one's gonna find us.
I said super, but SOUPER. soup, like Super
Oh,
Bowl.
there
Remember?
you go.
That's
See,
what I'm saying.
We can use the audio here for our advantage. No. We didn't say Super Bowl. We said soup.
Super Bowl, or Superb Owl, if you will, if you want to do it that way. But I mean, I'm excited because my wife was out of town this weekend to see one of her friends, and she was able to pick up some St. Elmo's cocktail sauce for my shrimp.
Oh my gosh, we were talking about that on the show like just a week ago.
Exactly,
it's insanely spicy.
And she got me 2 bottles because I'm gonna need it for all my cocktail shrimp I'm gonna be eating next weekend.
You're a glutton for punishment, man.
So I'm excited to get my dippins ready and watch these commercials because I've got some information. Disney is confirmed to have an undisclosed number of spots during the Super Bowl game.
They have a ton of stuff that they could promote. They have 3 Disney classics coming back: Aladdin, Dumbo, and what's the other one? Lion King.
Yep.
They got
3 Marvel movies.
They got 3 Marvel movies, and I think they also have an animated original coming. Isn't Frozen 2 coming out this year?
Frozen 2 is later this year. Toy Story 4 is this year.
6, 7. That's 7 movies that they
that's
could
8.
possibly. Oh yeah, that's 8. I'm literally holding up 8 fingers and I counted 7.
It's okay. We don't put you on here for your math.
There's too many to count.
And there's probably more that we don't know. These are just the big ticket items right here. So there's probably some live action adaptation of something that's probably going to crash and burn, like Tomorrowland. And
I would assume outside of Disney, we'll probably get some sort of teaser trailer for like a Fast and Furious movie. I think that Hobbs and Shaw movie is like the next one.
Yeah, they're working on it
to come out.
Pretty heavy.
There's always some sort of blockbuster action movie that really fits the audience of the Super Bowl that gets a spot. So usually every year all of our schedules have aligned where we've been able to do a 2-parter for the Superhero Slate, where we do a normal news episode that you guys can all download and listen to, and then right after the Super Bowl we hop back on these mics and then we talk about the commercials and the trailers, because usually they're trailers that pertain very much to the show. So hopefully our Super Bowl parties will align again, the fates will join, and we'll be able to bring you part 1 and part 2 next week as well.
Yeah, exactly. I hope we see a Hellboy trailer to get David Harbour and say it's not a tie dad. It's a Hellboy trailer.
Oh,
that would be
funny.
beautiful to have David Harbour in the Super Bowl trailers yet again. So, Harrison Ford will be in an Alexa/Amazon commercial per a teaser that came out earlier this week, and some other people on this Alexa. So, this is the first time I think I've seen Alexa make a presence in the commercials.
So she actually did make a splash on the scene when Alexa first came kind of to power. I do remember a suite of Super Bowl commercials because I think Alec Baldwin and maybe Macy Gray were doing them, but they weren't really anything like crazy and wild. They were kind of just like celebrities just talking to these Alexas. So it seemed like maybe we're going to get like another batch of just celebrities talking to smart devices. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's 1 star. I don't know. There's a blue light. It looks like it might be some sort of, it almost seems like an April Fool's style video, like, or they're announcing some new thing you can do with Alexa coming soon. Because it didn't look like a regular, hey, Alexa, help me, I'm Harrison Ford kind of thing. So she's not around listening to me. Is she? No, okay, I don't have one in the room.
We're probably triggering so many of these devices right now.
Yeah. And then also we saw Jeff Bridges return as the Big Lebowski in a trailer or a commercial that we don't know what it is for, really. Probably booze, if I was a betting man. Maybe a liquor commercial.
I mean, I was going to say, I think it's Alexa also, because both of these kind of little social media style videos both end with the numbers 2, 3, like 2019, almost like in the same type of like graphic design video template. So I think it's all one thing. But whatever this Big Lebowski thing ends up being, I'm not like a Lebowski head, I don't drink like White Russians and go to like the cons. I've only seen the movie once and it was entertaining. I liked it and I really loved Jeff Bridges. But that little teaser video that they made, it was just really funny because it just seemed like they're like, hey, Jeff Bridges, put on some sunglasses, put this bathrobe on and just walk in front of the camera and, I don't know, emote to the camera in some way. And he just kind of like peers down at the camera, does like kind of like this weird kind of like, I don't know, like posturing like shake or something, and then he just kind of like walks along. I was like, oh man, that was totally just the dude right there. So I'm looking forward to see what it is. I mean, we totally saw Google Home pay Macaulay Culkin probably a fat stack of cash to replay his Home Alone role during Christmas. So I
wouldn't be commercial.
I wouldn't be surprised if Amazon Jeff Bezos is slapping down even fatter stacks and getting more celebrities to reprise roles as people. You know,
Amazon's already revealed all their people. So this actually says Universal City Studios on the bottom of it. So this is not Amazon at all. Amazon or Universal City Studios owns Universal Studios theme parks. But not,
oh my God! If there's like a
but not Universal Pictures, so yeah, it could be a ride.
Whoa, a Big Lebowski ride would be hilarious. That would be so funny.
Yeah, and this kind of reminds me of last year. I don't know if you remember the Tourism Australia, where they did the teaser for the new Crocodile Dundee sequel with Chris Hemsworth.
Oh yeah, and it was just a
promotion for tourism. But I mean, yeah, I don't think this is I think it's gonna be something different. But I don't think we're going to see any Lebowski movies or sequels, sadly. So
it's very curious. It definitely does not need a sequel. It's like these cult classics should probably just be left alone, but I don't know.
Well, what's cool about this, I like to see the teasers for the commercials, and I don't want to see the commercials a week early. So I'm glad they're not showing the full commercials yet. So
yeah,
I'm excited for that, and we'll see all the trailers. We'll probably literally right before when we record next weekend, we will know all the trailers beforehand, and then that we won't know until then. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and also you have a week left to send us your Super Bowl snacks. We love snacking at the Super Bowl. We want to know what your favorite go-to snack is. It's just a wonderful time where you can eat whatever you want and not feel judged. We just picked up those big mega ultra stuffed Oreos that are out in the market now. I think they're actually making it into all grocery stores finally. So we were talking about fat stacks of cash. If you want like a fat stack of Oreo cream, get those new Oreos. They can only fit like 18 of them in a container because they're so thick.
I literally ate one right before I got on the mic with you. Like I was stuffing my mouth as I was getting on the microphone. So I can confirm they are in fact delicious. So
yeah,
pick those up. As you can tell in our awesome image Mike has made for us this week, Funko might be getting a movie based on the line of products they sell at Warner Brothers. After the success of the Lego movies and Lego Batman, not so much Ninjago, and the Lego Movie 2 coming out, they're kind of going down probably what toy franchises can we do to make it to movies. Troll Dolls had a movie. I forget about that one. So anything and everything. This includes Funko makes a lot of products. Not only do they make pop vinyls, Mike, this could also include their toys called Spastiks, Dorbz, Hikari Legacy Collection, Fabrikations, Mopeez, and Rock Candy.
Yeah, I think Dorbz are disgusting. I don't know why they make those. I'm sorry if anybody out there really wholeheartedly collects Dorbz, but I think they're the ugliest little collectible toy I've ever seen. So if they show up in the movie, I hope they're just kind of treated like little weird cretins, and they just kind of get kicked off the frame.
I have one Dorb, and it's the Miles Morales Spider-Man Dorb, because it is the one in 25. It's a rare one, so it's
okay.
I was I got it because it was rare, and it's also Miles, so I was all right.
I'm gonna test your Funko Pop knowledge right now.
Okay.
I was randomly googling the rarest and kind of most expensive / hard to find Funko Pops, and so these could just be from these websites specifically, but I'm sure they source their information from somewhere. So first question is, what do you think is the most rare / expensive superhero kind of comic book pop?
So there are, I know at least Loki, Marvel 14, I think it is. Loki is one of them.
There you go. I won't belabor you anymore. That is indeed it. It is the Loki.
Okay, because they only made 14 of them. It's number 15, but they made 14 of them.
Yeah. So now, out of all of the Funko Pops out there, what do you think is the rarest of them all?
Oh,
it's not what you would expect. So you wouldn't try to think of what franchise is really popular or something like that.
Yeah, it's got to be one that was a limited run of them, or if it's is it The Thing or Red Skull?
But you're right with limited. It's Dumbo, surprisingly.
Okay.
They made 3 versions of this Dumbo. One of them is blue metallic. Another one is gold. It's just all gold plated. I'm sure it's not real gold, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then the other one, he has a clown face, and I guess the clown face one and the gold one are the most rare, and they can set you back They said like $25,000. I don't know where the market for a $25,000 Funko Pop is. I don't know who's buying that, but I was surprised to like, I was scrolling through this list. I was like, oh man, what's going to be number one? This is going to be crazy. Is it going to be like Captain America, or is it going to be like a Mickey Mouse? And I was like, oh, it's Dumbo. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's I don't know a lot of outside of the Marvel ones, so it's kind of hard for me to see, but I know what the rare Marvel ones are because either I have them or I don't.
Red Skull was definitely on that list when I was looking through the comic book ones. There was a lot of Batman ones too. I guess there's a lot of limited kind of Batman colorways. There was like a solid white one where he was like all white from head to toe. I guess that was a popular one.
Yeah, like a lot of original ones or ones you can only get at conventions are pretty rare. Like ironically, I was thinking about this the other day, is the James Gunn Pop is one of the rarest because they only made a couple, like 200 of them at Comic-Con last year. And now that he's kind of out of the news, there's not a lot of that going on. The two I see the most actually in my circles are actually the headless Ned Stark Pop.
Oh yeah, that was on one of the lists. I saw that
because he's got a like a magnetic little head, so it's all blood.
Yeah, and there's like blood around the magnet.
And one called a Planet Arlia Vegeta from Dragon Ball.
Oh, I saw that, and I was like, hey, that's actually a pretty cool model too. That one looked kind of neat.
So the Planet Arlia Vegeta is known for Chinese markets to make rip-offs and knockoffs of this one and try to sell them as real ones. So like if you go to buy an expensive pop, there's like ways to check to make sure you're getting a real one, because like people try to literally rip them off because like there's such high demand. So
I believe it. But I mean, if we were bringing this back around to the idea of a movie, so I'm sure there's a clip out there somewhere, since we've been doing this show for a while, where we talked about the idea of a Lego movie even being made. And I'm sure I'm saying, that's crazy, how are you going to make a movie out of Legos? That just seems like a cash grab. I don't know if this is going to work. I really liked Legos growing up, but this is weird. And then they knocked it out of the park, and it's amazing, and the second one's about to come out, and I'm definitely going to go see it. It's like satirical, it's hilarious. They do lots of funny things with the properties that they have access to, which was like the best part, where you got to see Batman being extra goofy. And then eventually they make one of the best Batman movies ever made. So this totally changes my opinion on what a Funko movie could be. The only thing that makes me a little worried is, can they literally just do the same thing Lego did? Are they just going to have all of these properties that they have access to just kind of cross over in the same universe, and they'll just make, jokes at the expense of like what these characters are? I'm just kind of curious what they can do that's not just Lego with a different toy,
The thing about Legos, your imagination is your limitation with Legos. You can build everything because Legos are just little bricks and you can build them all, right? Funkos, at least from the pop vinyl, well, all of them actually, they're not action figures. They don't move. Like, you don't do anything with them. So I don't know what the storyline could be unless they just build a whole story based in a world where everybody is modeled after maybe the Funko look or something like that. But I really don't know where they can go with it, if I was to be completely honest.
I think the most interesting bit is, I don't know if this is really a rumor or how much it's confirmed, but I think this is all sourced from the guy who's writing the movie, and he's kind of listed some characters that he's confirmed for the movie, and right off the bat, he says Darth Vader, and it's just like, wait a minute, hold on. This movie's being made by Warner Brothers. What makes you think that you're going to get a Disney licensed character in your Warner Brothers movie? So I don't know if maybe just the initial draft of the script is put whatever characters you want in there, and we'll cross our fingers and maybe we'll see if Disney wants to give us these characters. I don't know what the strategy there is.
But if Funko has already licensed them and maybe they have likeness rights.
That would be hilarious if they have some sort of really weird clause in the contract that Disney never thought was going to be an issue. And it's like, oh, guess what? We actually are going to make a movie with these vinyl characters. You probably never thought that was going to happen. And we got the rights to Darth Vader, so get ready. We're going to put him on the poster. We're going to put him everywhere. We're going to sell so many toys with Darth Vader, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, they get royalties anyway. It's not like they're not getting money from that. But I mean,
Disney's, they're so precious about their IP. I don't think they would let that happen if they had the choice.
But that's the thing, though. Like, they will probably work with them and make this work, because if you think about Wreck-It Ralph 1, I mean, they have Mario characters, Sonic characters. Like Nintendo doesn't let their characters go ever after Super Mario Brothers in the 90s. So for them to even put Mario characters in that movie was a huge deal. with other characters like Sega characters. So like I think they'll probably be fine because they mentioned Darth Vader, they mentioned Deadpool, which is will be a Marvel character by the time this all comes out probably. Hellboy, Harley Quinn, Wonder Woman, Care Bears, My Little Pony, and also Hello Kitty. So they're gonna run the damn gamut of what they can put in these movies. So
yeah, I'm really curious what this movie is gonna end up being. I mean, you can kind of get a preview of it because Funko has made a lot of little animated shorts with the characters, so you can kind of get an idea. But you've seen more of those than I have. The characters have all been silent in those shorts, right?
As far as I know, yes, but they're also made in-house by Funko and not by Warner Brothers. So I wouldn't really hold them up to the quality of what that movie will look like at the end of the day.
Yeah, either. But I mean, Warner Brothers, like we said, they made the Lego movie, they made Teen Titans Go. So right now, I can only trust their animation department. And they're also putting out Young Justice Outsiders, which I haven't got around to watching it yet. I'm kind of waiting to maybe until part 2 drops and then binge them all at once because I love the original first 2 seasons. So I don't know if I'm going to want to wait a gap through the summer before I get to watch the other parts. But I've heard great things about it. Warner Brothers, I trust you, so I hope this comes out well.
It seems animated studios are raising the bar because we didn't believe in Sony either until they put out Into the Spider-Verse.
Ooh, and boy, was that was a 180 for me.
Yeah, so yeah, we've got possibly, and good news for me, a Funko movie, possibly bad news. We'll never know until it comes out.
It's good bad news for you because a Funko movie is going to spawn so much merchandise.
That's not good.
That you're not going to be able to keep up with that. You're going to need to buy another house, man.
Like I've already got pops on the floor. I'm like, where do I put them on the shelf? So I've got to rearrange my whole office again. But anyway, Doctor Strange 2, which we all want to see after seeing Doctor Strange's awesome powers in Infinity War, will get the same writer from the first one. C. Robert Cargill is apparently signed on to help write the script in collaboration with Scott Derrickson, who's probably going to direct again. And he and both Scott want to focus on the character Nightmare, the ruler of the dream/nightmare dimension. So to have that be the villain and go into that dimension rather than the mirror and dark dimension like they did last time. So I think that would be interesting.
I mean, that sounds cool. I would love for them to flesh out the mystic side a little bit more. I want to know a little bit more about the rules. Like what exactly, how many dimensions exists? Like why are the sorcerers there protecting them? Do they really protect them, or are they just more trying to keep a status quo on Earth? I just want to know how limitless it is, and if Dormammu's going to pop back up. He technically wasn't defeated as much as he just kind of succumbed and just gave up. So
right, but also we have Mordo to worry about. So I want to see how he ties in all this stuff as well. After saying no more sorcerers. So Doctor Strange 2 has a lot of potential. I'm excited to see these new mystical powers hopefully show up and, like you said, learn more about where they come from and maybe how this dimension ties into all that. Black Panther, biggest news probably earlier this week. I kind of forgot about it until like earlier today. I'm like, oh yeah, that's our biggest news. 7 Academy Award nominations this year, including the coveted Best Picture nomination.
Yeah, there it is right there. I mean, we got costume, sound, editing, score, which I guess would be a little bit of a surprise compared to other comic book movies, production design, and, Best Original Song. So there's a whole lot going on there that any superhero movie could possibly get. I mean, we saw Suicide Squad win, what was it, best
costume?
Makeup or best best costume. So it's just like, okay, well, if Suicide Squad can get best costume, anyone can really get in there. But yeah, that Best Picture nomination, that's pretty groundbreaking. The odds are not in their favor to win it, but just being nominated, honestly, I mean, as much as like the people on the red carpet will say, "Oh, well, just being nominated, really is all I really ever wanted." But this is true for Kevin Feige. He should just be shocked that they were even nominated, and he gets to walk the red carpet. And that's another opportunity for that awesome guy at MTV to get a hold of Kevin Feige on the carpet again and ask some like awesome, solid questions, because we'll be even closer to Endgame by that time. So I want more out of Feige. He's forced to come out of this Feige hole now for these award shows.
He'll also be coming out for Captain Marvel, so we got like 2 weeks in a row of him, or 3 weeks in a row of him coming out of his Feige hole to see his shadow and tell us what's going on. But Best Picture is like, that's unprecedented for comic book movies to even be there. Like you said, I don't expect them to win. I've seen a couple of the movies, so I'm not not holding my breath for any of them, but I really am interested to see the ramifications of this going forward. Can other comic book movies get in there or be treated as more than just, you know, I guess a blockbuster kind of film where you just make a lot of money?
Yeah, just a place to eat popcorn. I mean, this is also really good news for Kendrick Lamar for that best original song. I mean, would get him closer to, you know, a possible EGOT. You know, I think technically though he doesn't have the Grammy yet, which is a lot of people shocked. Or at least for best artist. I don't really know how the Grammys work. Maybe he does have a Grammy, but that'd be cool if he won best original song. But I think he's up against A Star Is Born with Lady Gaga, and she'll probably end up winning it, so that's cool. But the really cool thing about this is when you're nominated for best original song, usually you perform at the Oscars, so we might get to see all the stars performed live during the Oscars, so that'll be fun.
Do you think this will also help bring a lot of the Avengers onto as presenters at the Academy Awards because of this?
Yeah, I mean that would be cool. I mean, come on, you're making like an entertaining television show. You want as many reasons as you can to tout out these muscle armed dudes or these like good looking women and get them up on stage. So yeah, and I'm sure like Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth, you know, and all the like would love to walk up on that red carpet, you know, and just like schmooze, and any other celebrity there would just love to meet them. So I think that's really cool. I was really hoping that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse would get a Best Picture nomination, since not a lot of animated movies have done that. It's gotten the nomination for Best Animated Film, and I think it's got a good chance to win that, so that's awesome. I really hope it wins the Oscar. That would be so amazing. That would be so cool. So I'm crossing my fingers for that one, but I'm actually you know, genuinely excited for the Oscars this year. You know, it seems like, you know, there's some stuff at stake here for at least the Superhero Slate show. So I think this is maybe 2 weeks after the Super Bowl, so stay tuned in February and we'll run some of that stuff down the closer we get.
Yeah, two or three. We're excited. There's a lot of other award shows. I think isn't the SAG Awards tonight or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really pay attention to any of those, but
yeah, there's a lot, and we'll probably be getting more information as we move up closer. Avengers: Infinity War did not get a Best Picture nomination, and that's okay. But it was also it did get one nomination for Best Visual Effects of last year. And I've got to say, watching it again this week in 3D, like I told you on my VR headset, Thanos is believable, man. He's a whole CGI character, and you think he's a real person the whole time. He's the star of the film by a long shot. So I think they have a good shot at winning this. So
yeah, I don't really know who else is who else is in that category, but usually like a Star Wars movie wins Best Visual Effects, and I think Solo is in that category for Best Visual Effects. So yeah, I mean, even if I didn't like Solo, those visual effects are always solid. Lucas knows how to really bring those visuals to the screen, so they'll have some competition in that category.
Yeah, the other ones, I have not seen Ready Player One yet, but I know it's a very graphical focused movie.
I mean, yeah, it is, but I don't think it would win.
Yeah. The other thing is, I don't think, just taking a quick peek here, no Star Wars film has won best visual effects.
Oh, really? What am I thinking they're winning then? Maybe they just always get nominated.
The original ones did. So
okay.
4, 5, and 6, but they've all been nominated, but no one has won since Return of the Jedi. So.
Oh, okay. I got the list up here now. It looks like it's Infinity War, Christopher Robin, First Man, Ready Player One, and Solo: A Star Wars Story. So, I mean, I didn't see First Man. Christopher Robin, I guess maybe for the characters running around, but I mean, yeah, maybe Infinity War. It is it's a heavy hitter in this category.
Yeah, I mean, if it wins, does it mean anything to me? No, but it'd be. I mean, as you can see, kind of like there's been superhero movies every year. If you look back, I don't know if you have the list of all the old ones.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through them. Yeah, and the Star Wars movie is always nominated every time it's up there. So
yeah, so starting with Iron Man, Iron Man 2. Yeah. Anyway, so Academy Awards are coming up, and we've got some superhero movies. Rotten Tomato did a user poll. This is not their score, but they sent a poll to like 30,000 people. And the number one movie of 2018 based on these fans was Infinity War at the end of the day.
It was so satisfying. It was so good.
Yeah, it is. So even though, like I said, this is not Rotten Tomato score based, this is all based on like people who voted for it. And then that was that. There's a bunch of other movies. Into the Spider-Verse was in there, I believe. And I want to say Black Panther, but not Ant-Man and the Wasp. No surprise for that. The Razzies. You're familiar with the Razzie Awards, right?
Yes.
The Raspberries. The anti-Academy Awards, really. No superhero movies were nominated for Razzie this year. So congratulations,
Congratulations, industry. I saw Melissa McCarthy is nominated for a Razzie and also nominated for an Oscar in the same year. I thought that was pretty funny. Well, so she might win something this year.
If you watch Happy Time Murders, you'll know why she was nominated for a Razzie. So, yeah, that was in there. And I think Gotti was on one of them. What was the movie that Sherlock and Holmes? Or Sherlock Holmes or Holmes and Watson? So, yeah, if you're interested in watching Razzies instead of Academy Awards because you're a glutton for punishment, go right ahead.
There you
Check that out. Disney Plus, it looks like we have news for this every week, Mike. Like, they are just dropping this because they're working on it. No Marvel Studios originals will be released in 2019 is the current report.
Ouch. Okay.
Because they are writing them and producing them. And
I mean, that makes sense. Strategically, though, I hope they launch with something big. Is it going to be The Mandalorian? Is that going to be their big pitch?
Yeah, because it's filming. I think it's way like through the middle of production already. So it's going to be ready to roll. Probably some of their animated shows as well. But also Marvel TV produced shows could be on the launch as well. So we could get New Warriors right out the gate.
Oh, yeah, that would be good.
So those are a little quicker, usually, those smaller TV budget shows. Since we know the other ones are probably going to be a larger, huge budget for the Marvel Studios originals. Some more information about the Loki. Loki will kind of be like Arrow with a split perspective between the past and the future.
Oh, I'm patting myself on the back.
Yeah.
I think I literally said that the other week.
Yeah, so that's kind of what people were saying. But like, I don't know, since Loki's currently dead, like what part of the world he's going to be in. Is he going to be back? Is this before he dies? I don't know. So we're going to see where that goes. But they're going to be doing that. The Scarlet Witch is not a mutant in her show. But they may bring back Quicksilver / Aaron Taylor Johnson for backstory filling purposes. So, like, telling about what her life was like before she got powers.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense not to make her a mutant. I mean, when her origin was revealed to us at kind of at the end of what movie did they show where they showed the scepter coming back?
I want to say it was Winter Soldier.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, it's obviously that they were made from one of the Infinity Stones, so we don't need to retcon that and make her a mutant,
Yeah.
So I'm really curious how they'll end up introducing mutants. But yeah, Scarlet Witch, she doesn't need to be a mutant. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't think anything going forward will need her to be a mutant either. So we're good. Cinemacon, one of the biggest conventions for film, like film slates and like showing off what studios are bringing. A lot of leaks happen at Cinemacon. Sony Pictures is skipping the expo this April, actually, even though they have Spider-Man: Far From Home and Men in Black International on their slate, which is sad. But the people there were like, "Yeah, we understand. Like they probably have confidence in their movies for once, and that's all right." Fox may also either skip Cinemacon or fold their presentation into Disney's this year. Which would be interesting to see whichever one they choose to go with. So
yeah, let's see if they can they walk up on stage with a straight face and show off a new Dark Phoenix trailer like we're gonna care about it.
Yeah, but they've got to. They have to. Like they have to. Either no one's gonna care about it, but they still have to market it like they're going to. Otherwise, they won't make any money for sure. They can at least fool the regular people into going. Yeah,
just walking through. They're just going through the motions. God bless them.
Yeah. Probably copy paste from their Apocalypse advertising. That's my guess. So we're gonna see what the Fox lineup has for us. All stuff in April. So I'm excited to see sooner than later what's going on. Morbius Living Vampire has cast actor Matt Smith, who was Doctor Who for several seasons, and he's in an undisclosed role in Star Wars 9 in a leading role for this film. And they've also set a release date of August 31st, 2020.
Oh man, movie. These movies are going forward. I guess there's nothing we can do about them making this villain Spider-Man little universe. Best case scenario, it's a really, really, really good movie. Well, hopefully Jared Leto, who is an Academy Award winner, hopefully he can really pull off a living vampire, and then hopefully they can really write this weird. I don't want to say right the ship because the ship is not sinking from Venom, but maybe write the critical blimp or something like that. Maybe the critics are flying in a blimp. Maybe they can return that thing around.
Raise the bar higher for themselves.
Yeah. Like, and because I think they can still pivot off of Venom if they just kind of retool the way that they want to play with Tom Hardy. So yeah, maybe there is a life here for these characters. But if Morbius isn't good, I think my opinion is going to sink ever deeper into the abyss.
Yeah, I think if Matt Smith is being cast in Star Wars 9, and he's Doctor Who for all this year, I think he wouldn't probably take something he was horribly against right out the gate. And same with Jared Leto, so maybe there is a little hope in there that they're working on something good. But in that regards, Venom 2 is rumored for an October 2nd, 2020 release, so they may be kicking this into production as of next year or this year.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but the first Venom movie hit October, correct?
Yeah, like
they
October
hit
5th or something.
They hit like an October record or something like that.
Yeah, and they usually try to sync them up whenever their original releases are to the sequels. So they're working towards that as well. Like you said, Venom made a lot of money, mostly because of the weird Chinese marketing.
At the very least, at least it gives us something to review in October, because usually October comes along, we don't have anything to spoiler cast because it's just kind of a dead zone until November hits. So at least we got something going on there next year.
Yeah, and like I said, if Venom didn't get nominated for Razzies, there's worse movies out there, man. Because they usually rip apart the worst of the worst. And lastly, whether you're a fan or not, Ghostbusters from Sony has a July 10th, 2020 release. So
I do like how you say whether you care or not.
Whether you're a fan or not, Ghostbusters, the third / whatever sequel, whatever it's going to be, they're working on that. So that means production's going to be kicking up really soon. So I mean, I expect to be hearing more about this sooner than later as they go into it. Maybe a teaser at Comic-Con. If so, no, is Sony going? I think Sony's going. So we may have a lot more come San Diego Comic-Con later this year.
Yeah,
for that. Aquaman made a bunch of money, man. It is blown out of the water, literally and figuratively. And Warner Brothers is, of course, starting to develop a sequel for the film.
Mm-hmm.
Comes as no surprise, really. This was the biggest obvious news this week. But I did not know that James Wan is the only director to helm 2 $1 billion movies for separate studios.
Ooh.
I think his other was Fast 7, I believe it was.
Yeah, one of the Fast movies.
Yeah, so he is obviously a box office treasure. Whether you love... I mean, again, I think I would put Fast and the Furious on par with Aquaman. They're not great movies, but there is an audience for them. And, I didn't leave like, oh my god, I'm going to rip my eyes out like I did with Justice League or Batman v Superman. So, they're working towards, I guess, raising the bar slowly out of the water.
I guess at least James Wan knows how to take a charismatic actor and let them be charismatic, because he's handled The Rock, he's handled Jason Momoa, so I'm glad he can do that. Also, a little tagging on to this Aquaman news a little bit, I saw that Patty Jenkins is out there, and she's been talking a little bit about Wonder Woman 3, and she's also said that she hopes a Justice League movie isn't coming anytime soon. So I guess even Patty Jenkins doesn't really want to revive that team up anytime soon. So, maybe this is really giving Warner Brothers a lot of time to kind of figure out where they want to go, what they want to do before they kind of bring all these characters back together. So, yeah, let's get an Aquaman 2. That's really awesome, really cool. Let's do something like really creative, maybe outside of Atlantis, something outside of just the normal regal kind of like King ascends the throne story. And we're going to get an awesome kind of weird retro Wonder Woman movie that I think is going to be really fun and really cool. And let's see what happens with Shazam too.
Yeah, a lot of people are turning on Shazam, and that's how I felt when I saw the first trailer. So you guys can suck it. I'm actually really concerned about that movie because we don't have a trailer 2 yet, by the way.
Super Bowl, buddy. It'll be Super Bowl, man.
Yeah, but you're literally launching in between Captain Marvel, Infinity War, and Hellboy, and you only have one trailer that's over 8 months old now. Like, what is wrong with your marketing team? Like, you gotta get people hyped for this movie, and there's no hype whatsoever. You're gonna get drowned in Captain Marvel and in-game stuff, hands down. So I need to see more of this. Anyway, Aquaman sequel in the works, of course. I like to see the standalone movies, so I'm good with that. Titans, apparently Mike says we have to watch it. He said this every week for 3 months though.
The people have spoken. They are adding me. They are literally adding me, telling me we need to dive into this show. And trust me, we are not avoiding it just because it's like Warner Brothers or DC. It takes a little bit more effort to watch it because it's on a streaming app, and I have no problem, I guess, like signing up for it because it's like pretty cheap. I'm just trying to figure out when to pull the trigger, and we got to coordinate too because we might not necessarily both sign up for the app. Chris has other means to get shows. Maybe he'll take that route.
I've seen one episode and Mike hasn't, so I'm put that out there.
But we both really want to watch this show, so we definitely should jump into it soon, Chris. I'm making it public on this now. I want to watch this. I keep seeing little articles out there about people's take on Batman showing up in the last episode. There's like image galleries out there where you can get a closer look at his costume, and I've been avoiding clicking on all of these links. So and also Doom Patrol's coming out soon too. So we're gonna need to jump on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mike says he's gonna watch Young Justice. I don't believe him. I think he's all talk. So whenever he watches that, I guess you'll have to wait until that second half of that season's wrapped up, right, before you sign up for the subscription. So
we'll see. Like there's other means for creative and sparky people to find ways to watch shows. So we'll figure out something.
Okay. Well, yes, I'm not avoiding it. But the season 2 is supposedly going to be introducing Deathstroke's children, Jericho and Ravager. I'm pretty sure they were big. I know in the comic books, Ravager was a Teen Titan at one point, but I don't know if these people are in the Young Justice or any other shows like that. I
had no idea Deathstroke in the canon at some point had children. That's kind of cool because I would imagine they're going to be psychopathic.
Did he not have? Wasn't Jericho in Arrow? I thought he had a kid in Arrow.
Oh, geez. I honestly don't know. Arrow's been a show that I've kind of left to the wayside. There's a chance it could be in there, but it would have to have been like a storyline that would have had to happen before he was either introduced to have a kid old enough to for Arrow to punch in the face.
He was in Elseworlds. You watched Elseworlds?
Jericho was in Elseworlds?
Yep.
What am I watching? Okay, well, if he came from another universe, that would make sense.
But he's in season 6 and 7, and one of those was Elseworlds. So
those would be more recent seasons that I haven't seen.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just thought he was in there because I thought through the some recaps and stuff I've seen online. So we'll see where those stories go and see what that pulls up. I don't know much about them, but like I said, I'm not opposed to watching Titans, so I'm excited to see that. This picture makes me a little uneasy, Mike. I'm going to tell you right now because I don't know how I feel. Supergirl, we get our first look at John Cryer, known for his John Hughes movies in the 80s and also as 2.5 Men, as Lex Luthor in the upcoming Supergirl, and he looks like he's in a max security cell, like all Lex Luthors we always see. He looks like he's not happy. He's planning to get out. He has a plan in his eye. But man, does John Cryer not look good with a shaved head.
I think it's funny because Lex Luthor, famously in one of the Superman movies, was all about real estate, and he's got a lot of real estate on top of his head.
Yeah,
that's for sure. There's just a lot of flesh going on up there. I'm not trying to shame the man. It's just like some people can and can't pull off bald heads. There's nothing against him, but yeah, there's a whole lot to see up there. Maybe it's also the angle that he's at. He's kind of like, he's not necessarily looking down, but he kind of like, he has his head pitched a little bit, and he's kind of like looking up to see the camera. So maybe it's just the angle that he's at, and it doesn't look like it's a completely clean razor shaved head. It looks like it could just be a very, very close to the skin like buzz cut, which maybe would be the best for John Cryer. So I think we might have to wait until we see something beyond this. I
want to see it in action because this is obviously a photoshopped CGI created door. Like this is not a still frame from the show. Like this is they got him in front of a green screen maybe and took a photo of him. So I'd like to see it in action, but this photo is not selling me on John Cryer in this role at all. But apparently people are very excited to see Lex Luthor show up in Supergirl. So if that's your thing, he's coming around the corner. Detective Pikachu isn't even out yet, but Legendary is already working on a sequel.
Wow.
To be written by Oren Uziel, who wrote 22 Jump Street.
Oh, I'm down for that. I love those Jump Street movies. They're hilarious.
So, what do you need in a Ryan Reynolds voiced Pikachu movie where he's a detective? Humor. So I agree with that. you gotta take that levity up a notch. So
I'm excited for like these Pokeverse of movies. I hope they really hit the ground running, because we might finally get like a solid video game franchise that turns into a movie franchise.
Yeah, I agree. That would be the one that breaks the mold, wouldn't it? So I'm hoping as well. So if anyone's excited for Detective Pikachu, know that Legendary has full faith in it. They're already making a sequel, or at least while they have the rights to do it, they're like, let's hurry up and crank out a bunch of these. And lastly, the last two things we're going to talk about at the end of the episode, Mike, are two indie comic book TV series coming to streaming services. The first one is one called The Boys. Are you familiar with The Boys before you saw this one?
I'm only familiar with it because we've been talking about it on the show for about the last year. So however you filled me into it. I know it's kind of like this indie comic. I don't really know the publisher, but I know Seth Rogen is developing this comic, and he has been quoted saying, because I follow him on Twitter, that this is his favorite comic book of all time. So that's gotta mean something from a guy like him.
Yeah, so it's produced by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. They do Preacher together. So if you like Preacher, which Preacher's been getting great reviews and everyone likes it, this is their second project. And The Boys, as I put in here, it's a world where superheroes embrace the darker side of their celebrity and fame. Kind of reminds me of Powers a little bit in that regard. And the boys are these vigilantes who take down corrupt superheroes. This teaser is really a lot of just action shots and no story elements. I know Carl Urban's in here, and there's
we love Carl Urban.
We do, and there's just a lot of action shots. So I think they're gonna really take Amazon is investing in some of the action shots to make it feel kind of like a violent world where superpowers exist. There
is a fan base out there for sure for Carl Urban, because when I saw this trailer earlier, I tweeted saying like, oh, I'll follow Carl Urban's to the end of the earth or something like that, and I just started getting random people that are basically just searching Carl Urban's name on Twitter, because that's the only way they're going to be finding my tweet, and they're just liking it and also agreeing with it. So there's a thirst out there for more Urban, and I'm glad that he's in this show.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure also in that regard, this series is wrapped up. It's a limited series or whatever. So you can actually pick it up and read it beforehand. But
the first episode is directed by Dan Trachtenberg, who directed a Black Mirror episode somewhat recently, and also very well known for 10 Cloverfield Lane. So they got someone talented for the pilot for sure.
Yes. What I also want to put out is this is created and written by Garth Ennis, who did Preacher, and his goal of the series was to out Preacher. So if you like Preacher, you're going to love this. And if you're not into that kind of extreme violence and kind of sexuality that are like the hallmarks of his series, like, you're probably not going to like it. But so you're probably not going to watch it with your kids, but it looks like it's going to be, for a lack of a better word, Mike, and I hate this phrase, this, dark and gritty show. That one, however, I'm not as excited about for that, but I am excited more about the Umbrella Academy, which is the Netflix series coming out here, with also star power Ellen Page in it. And this is a Dark Horse comic we talked about at the start of the show, or before the show. Gerard Way, the singer of My Chemical Romance, wrote this book back in 2007 while he was still singing for My Chemical Romance. And then in the trailer, they used one of their newer songs, I think.
Yeah, and I haven't read this comic book myself, but I do have faith in Gerard Way, because surprisingly, before he even got into the music industry professionally and made it his career, he was an animator that literally worked at Cartoon Network. So it's not like he's shy or totally unfamiliar with kind of like animation or comic books or storytelling. So this isn't just like a case of like some privileged like musician who's just throwing his like clout and talent around to get like get like a comic book deal. It seems like he has a passion for that. So I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I haven't read the comic book, but I was watching the trailer, and what's the one thing I said that you heard me say while I watched the trailer just before the show started?
Oh, I don't remember.
I said, "Ooh, a monkey."
Oh yeah, ooh, a talking monkey. Yeah.
And it looked really good. That was like, oh man, that's like Planet of the Apes rendering right there. So it looks like Netflix is also throwing a decent amount of money at this. So this is competition in the free market at its finest. You got two streaming services battling against each other with an indie comic book streaming series.
Yeah, and like you said, also at the top of the show, we have Umbrella Academy, Deadly Class on Sci-Fi.
Yeah.
Done by the Russo brothers. And also, other things is, Jarway, he wrote Doom Patrol. He's writing Doom Patrol for DC right now. Like, he's been writing comic books since '94. So, like, he is not, like you said, he's not using his clout as a singer and popular person to do things. He's been doing it forever. So, you can check those out. He wrote one of them, I'm pretty sure, Edge of Spider-Geddon, and created I think his character is, what's her name? Penny Parker. I want to say he created Penny Parker, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Either way, for the Umbrella Academy, this is also a finite book. There's 6 issues, Mike. I don't know if you knew that or not. Like, this is not an ongoing comic book series.
Yeah, I could burn through that really quickly if I wanted to read it. The story that they seem to be hinting at in this trailer looks like it's really interesting, and it has a very like specific kind of edge and like sharpness that they're kind of bringing in with like the dialogue. And there was a specific shot that kind of reminded me a little bit of Wes Anderson, where they kind of pull out and they kind of show this mansion without like its front wall, and you could see all the different rooms. So it seemed like there's actually going to be some creative like filmmaking in this series too, which is neat. Yeah,
because the Umbrella Academy were heroes when they were like 10 years old. They were like these kids who were born out of nowhere. Like, they were born the same day their mothers got pregnant, which is weird. So, like, this guy called the Monocle takes them in, and they each have their own type of power. And they were solving crimes and saving the world when they were like 10. One of them goes, the kid who went into the future he disappeared, and that's what broke them up. So we're catching up with them after they broke up and are coming back together. So I'm interested to see these 7 siblings come all together and see what's going on.
Yeah. Now, Chris, would you allow me to just rant for a brief moment?
I don't think I'm going to have a choice, so proceed.
I just wanted to get at this thing about streaming services that's just been bugging me lately, because I always see the same line of logic in like every thread or comment on any article I ever see on the internet. Some sort of new streaming service like introduces like some sort of new pricing tier, or they introduce some sort of new show, new slate of shows, and everybody just is like, oh my god, there's so many streaming services, I can't keep up with it. Eventually somebody thinks they're really smart, and they're like, oh, eventually someone's going to find a way to bundle them all together and sell it to you at one price, and it's just going to be like cable all over again. And I just want to like smack these people around, because it's like, no, it's not going to be like cable again, because the single worst thing about cable television or broadcast television that everyone just seems to forget is the commercials. Like, I don't care what they do. They can package Netflix with Hulu under one price. They can do whatever they want to do. I mean, they're kind of already doing that. You can tack HBO onto your Hulu account or tack it onto your Amazon Prime account. I don't care how they want to do it. I don't care how they want to bill it. I will pay whatever service I need to, as long as I don't need to see commercials anymore. That's like the whole point of these streaming services. So I hope it never turns into cable and they start tacking on commercials. I just always want the option to pay an extra like $2 or $3 a month, so I never have to see a commercial again. I only want to see them during the Super Bowl.
Do you pay for the Hulu commercial free?
Yes, of course.
I want to need your login. No, I'm kidding. Did you know?
Well, they actually. Were you going to say that they lowered the price of the commercial tier?
Well, yeah. Netflix went up in price $2, and Hulu went down like $3. So I was like, that's interesting, but the commercial free price stayed the same. I was begging them for a commercial free option, and then the second they came out with it, we got on it to support that whole narrative. Yeah, commercials just totally ruin the flow of anything that I watch. Like, I can't imagine somebody enjoying a commercial break. Like, there's even like a lot of TiVos out there now that'll like automatically strip out commercials. Nobody wants commercials. Everybody just is advertising you now on
social media and your Twitter and Facebook feed, so you don't even need them on your television show anymore. So that's the end of my rant. I don't care how anybody wants to sell me streaming services. As long as they never package a commercial in, I will be a happy camper.
Okay.
So there you go. There you go. That's my rant. That's my streaming services. My broccoli hasn't been steamed in a while, so
yeah, wow.
it's been a pretty good time if it's been a while since a rant.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute since a rant. Before we wrap up the show, speaking of hot minutes, since we've done things, if people want to go back and listen to our old episodes, they are all transferred over this week, Mike. Did it by hand, got it done.
Yes, Chris, good for you. Slaving over our database here to make sure we can move over to our new podcast server, Podbean, because it's giving us more flexibility. It's letting us serve our show on Spotify. Which, if anybody out there is listening on Spotify, I'd love to hear if everything's going well over there.
Yeah, Spotify. I mean, not just that. I mean, it's opened up a whole new wealth of options to us going forward as well. Which I'm very excited for. But I mean, I was able to go back and clean up episodes we haven't touched in like 3 years, like our first year of shows, because no one's going back unless we're a new show. Obviously, you don't want to hear 3 years old news, because obviously we are wrong a lot of the time.
Sometimes it can be kind of fun, though. I mean, I can't specifically say it for our show, but every once in a while I'll dive into like a Let's Play for somebody on YouTube. Maybe they're playing a long series and it's a really long chain of videos, and I kind of treat it like a podcast myself when I'm working at the office. So I'm watching a Dark Souls Let's Play run that was from like 2016. So I'm hearing these guys that are playing it talk about these like 2016 memes and references and stuff. So it's kind of fun listening to it's like a little time capsule of what was just like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. But the point of that is, if anyone goes back and listens to our old episodes, I encourage you to tell me if they're broken or we need to fix anything, because I updated all the images. I made sure everything was kosher across all our platforms and all our databases. So if you find something that's broken or needs an update, you let me know immediately and I will fix it, because I'm tired of looking at those things, Mike. I do not want to go back one more time. But yes. Anyway, that's our show for the week. People want to know what you're up to, see what you're doing this week, see about all these Carl Urban fan clubs you're joining. Where can they find you at?
Well, they can follow me at Mike Royer Design on Instagram and Twitter, and you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, if people want to follow you, see what you're up to, see if you're drowning in your pops, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Valdan87, or head over to Twitter at Valdan, Valdan. You can also check me out at Comic UI, or just message me on here, whatever you want to do. People are going to message me anyway, Mike. They're going to find me. That's what I'm finding out this week. But if people want to know more about our show or to find those old episodes that we just updated, where can they find us at and listen to us?
As always, all you got to do is visit superheroslate.com. That is your resource for everything that is our show, and you can also get awesome upcoming releases. So it's a brand new year. Like we said, Disney's got a lot of stuff coming out this year. Every studio's got a lot of comic book things hitting the calendar, and we got a nice little upcoming releases page. It's all just plain text. You don't got to wait for a bunch of obnoxious images to load. There's no ads. So if you ever just want a nice resource of when are my superhero movies coming out this year, just head on over to our upcoming releases pages. I actually use it. It's really helpful. Even when we're chatting on the show, I usually have it pulled up so I can figure out when these movies are coming out. So you can get our awesome show notes there too. So we talked about some trailers today. If you want to see that really weird picture of John Cryer's scalp real estate, you can get that in our show notes. And you can also subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and you can get merch at superheroslate.com/store. We love hearing from you. I saw some ats on Twitter this weekend, so we love hearing your opinions and what you want us to listen to. So I love the mounting pressure forcing me to watch Titans, because it's kicking my butt into gear, and it's just getting me to where I need to go. So we love hearing from you. Thanks for reaching out. Wherever you want to comment or drop us a line. We love reviews on iTunes too. That's really good. So the more reviews that we have there helps us crawl those really weird SEO rankings on iTunes, which I don't understand because it's nothing like Google. All I know is you got to review it for us to get in front of more eyeballs there. That's for sure. And if you want to be a super fan of Superhero Slate, all you got to do is share the show with a friend and share our show with a buddy, and you will be a Superhero Slate super fan, and we will be here every week, Chris.
Every week. Especially next week, where probably twice because
that's
the
Super
one.
Bowl.
It's the one time a year we record 2 regular episodes a week. The rest are probably reviews. And do we have any reviews coming up? Is it just
I was about to say, I know technically it's not a superhero film per se, but we have every plan and intention to go see the new Lego movie. So if you're going to go see that, maybe we should spoiler cast that coming up.
All right, well, we'll take a look and see what's on my upcoming calendar and go from there. So I guess we'll catch everybody next week.
All right, adios.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
Guess what I'm drinking? Just water.